Hello. Man, that was a shaky start. Today's January 28th, 2024. I'm a little kind of sick right now, but we gotta keep going. We have to keep going. I've got an all-day shift today, but that is besides the point. Today I'd like to talk about, over the past few days, Taylor Swift and AI have been in the news together, not for very good reasons at all. Deep fake images, 18 plus types of images have come out that people generated, created, whatever you want to call it, which we're going to get into whatever you'd like to call it. And AI has kind of been thrust into the limelight in a mainstream way like it hasn't been for a little bit now. And so many people are talking about it, and we'll also get to what people are talking about here in just a second. I do think though that people are talking about AI now more than ever, or at least people that weren't talking about it are now. Like, I'm not really sure if the Swifties and AI, how much overlap is there, if you know what I mean. So that's really all. And I'd also like to say that these images are not good. Think about it. If you were Taylor Swift, waking up one day or just being made aware that these types of images are floating around out there and people are like laughing at them, the whole nine yards. You know what I mean? It's not good. I don't really think that there's really any defending, posting them publicly. You can get into the nuance there and all that. But no, it's just really not a good look. And it's very, very mean to Taylor Swift. I do think that, this is nothing novel, which we'll also get into, but celebrities seem so far removed from, personal contact. How many people removed are you from, a celebrity that's as big as Taylor Swift? There might really be no one as big as her right now when it comes to the tour, and then Travis Kelce, and now this. She's one of the, most famous people on the planet. And they just seem removed from everyday life, so to speak, or, just direct sort of communication. I don't know. I can't think of the right word, but you get the idea. So I want to sort of take a step back and peel some layers of the onion and get into the nitty-gritty here, because at the end of this video I do want to just sort of talk about the consequences of all of this. So to get there, let's talk about AI in the philosophical context. And to start, I think we need to talk about creativity and ask ourselves what creativity is. Now, Immanuel Kant is, I guess, sort of the proprietor of the standard psychological definition, which I think psychological definitions are good here because psychology studies brains to a certain extent, and cheers to that. This is not alcohol, it's caffeine. Anyways, Kant is really worried about originality and it just being an exemplary piece. So it's original and it's good. Not a whole lot of bells and whistles to that. But the point is that while we have this sort of very ambiguous barometer of what creativity is, artistic creativity and anything along those lines, because artistic creativity is, pretty generic in this context. It's not usually defined. It's more so we just have some characteristics that we can, see if the wind blows in certain directions, you know what I mean? But we have gotten a little further along from Kant. Obviously, this guy is long gone. So let's talk about Margaret Bowden. I was preparing for this video. Margaret Bowden, I think, has some interesting sort of comments on creativity and how there's P creativity and H creativity. Now, H creativity is historic creativity, and P creativity is psychological creativity. Psychological creativity is the more fundamental creativity. It is, in the case of Isaac Newton and physics, it's the fact that Newton, and here I'm not a physicist, like I'm gonna keep it real with you. Newton discovered physics, or he furthered physics, I'm not entirely sure, but point is, he's got a lot to do with physics, and it was P creative of Newton to do so in the way that he did it with calculus. I think that's more so what we're talking about here. But again, this is not my field of expertise. But what Newton did was not H creativity. It was not historical creativity, because Leibniz, another goober, was he did it first. And because Newton's thing is not H creative, it doesn't take away from the creativity, and that is why P creativity is more fundamental. Because Newton didn't copy Leibniz. You know what I'm saying? Which that'll creep up again here in a sec. But Margaret also comments on the surprising nature of creativity, the combination of ideas in new ways. Like the first person to think of a Pegasus, a horse with wings, or a unicorn, a horse with a horn, and a narwhal type of fashion. Or you get the idea, a liger, things like this. Creations of ideas in new ways. All right, that's pretty good. And then other commentators have also talked about originality, sort of the independency is a big factor, which there you go. There's Newton. He didn't copy Leibniz's homework. He just didn't get there first, but the way in which he arrived was different than Leibniz, and therefore it's still creative. Which kind of, like, on a personal note, that kind of, thinking about this, kind of made me feel good, because sometimes I've had ideas and then I see them elsewhere and it makes me feel bad, but it's like, oh, you're not that smart. No, it's just, it wasn't age creative. So there's that. Let me make this turn real quick. My depth perception isn't the best, like soon after waking up. Where are we? There's also an agency aspect to creativity. The sort of intentionality of creativity, being creative. This is where it gets very, very nuanced in my opinion. And I'm not gonna really talk about it too much, because this literally opens up God versus no God debate. But like, creativity is not in nature really. While nature can be pretty, is it creative? It's more so just a byproduct of the way the natural world operates, you know what I mean? And obviously that's why theists do think, like, oh, if God created this, then sure it's creative, but we don't need to go there here. This has nothing to do with Taylor Swift and AI. So, let's keep moving. There's a spontaneity aspect to it as well. Limited foresight. Can't think about it too hard. I'm not really sure where people are going on this one, to be honest. I mean, I get it, but this is why I mentioned it last. I saved the worst for last in this instance. The point I'm trying to make here is that when you apply all of the... I'm going to check if I'm recording real quick. I am. The point I'm trying to make here is when you apply all of these things to AI, you can see that there exists a level of P creativity, not necessarily H creativity. There exists a level of agency, whether it's the human telling the computer what to do, or as we'll see with like chess or Go, there's the surprising factor as well. You know, we take a look at moves that computers make in chess, and you know, they're taking billions of data points, using, you know, the specific context of what's happened so far in the chess game, and seeing which moves typically lead to the most wins. And obviously chess is much more complicated than that, but they're trying to play for a certain combination of moves that, you know, offers them the best chance to win, gives them the best percentage. And so some of the moves that computers make in chess are surprising. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but if you know about chess, you most likely know this. Now, you know, you read, and Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy is brilliant. It's one of the best free resources we have on the internet. But the person, the programmer, the person writing the prompt, if it's something like ChatGPT, is responsible for what the AI does, right? And that is why I think, and I'm a little biased here just because I'm a fan of AI, and I know that many people dislike AI art and all of this stuff. But this is why I don't think we need to be too harsh on AI art. Obviously, we are worried about AI taking jobs. And if I'm wrong in any sort of capacity, or if you just have disagreements with me, let me know. Because this is something that I've sort of just kind of let my intuition ride on. But as I was saying, the programmer is responsible. They're the one to blame or praise for what the AI produces, right? And obviously we've been hearing that, you know, even the White House has warned companies about deepfake stuff. Taylor Swift's name wasn't searchable on X for a little while. I'm not sure if it still is or not. I don't know if this video will, you know, if YouTube will like allow this to be seen. People are being urged to take action against AI stuff. And I just think we should be careful within the realms of, if we're going to go to the policy table, if we're going to go to DC and all the other capitals where rules and laws are made, if we're going to go there, I just want to be careful with language. I really do, because the second we start fucking with the freedom of art and all that, it's a slippery slope. And, you know, if you disagree with me, and if you've still made it this far, let me know, because I'm you know, like I said, I'm a little biased towards AI, but I'm also just scared of, you know, the types of externalities that could come out of laws pertaining to art. Obviously we have copyright laws and all that, but I just mean like when we start to talk about what type of art you can and cannot make with what type of tools, I don't know, it gets a little scary for me, that's all. And that's really what I wanted to talk about. So yeah, I'm almost to work now. It's drizzling out today. I'm not feeling the best. There's football on. I'll talk about last night probably tomorrow. I want to reflect on it more. I don't want to be super reactionary in my thinking. And yeah, I think that's enough. Be safe and peace and love.